All right, so we done your exam, okay, the last time. Then this time we're gonna do your presentations about your simulations. In the practice round one, actually, you did have a chance to learn what this simulation is and how your strategy works and how it worked. Okay, I know I know. This is the early stage of your simulation, so actually we don't have much information to present, but okay, this presentation help you think about your strategy again, and also uh, to what communicate, communicate with others. Okay? Then the team is working like that, then my team is working blah blah blah, something like that. Okay, so actually this presentation will provide this opportunity. Okay, so we'll go. Okay, and I just want to make sure. Okay, I just want to make sure everyone is ready to go. Your audio. Hey Michael, great. So Michael, audio video is working okay. Okay, so please, if you are ready to go, your audio video everything's okay, please say yes. Tinsley is first. Okay, Tinsley, thank you. All right, Michael, yeah, as your system is working, absolutely. Okay, great. So let's go. Before we go, I have some announcement. I just want to make sure, okay, our schedule. So today is your presentation, okay? So it's a fun day, all right? 5 to 10 minutes for each team. Okay? And next time, Monday, is a practice round decision two, okay? The due is, okay, the next day, 7 p.m., okay? So at this point, we gonna get together. Okay, we gonna meet up on this video conference. Then you have your own team meetings. Okay, but still, this game is you are the boss. You are the boss. Okay. Then, if you have an idea, okay, so if your teams prefer, some other, meeting formats, meeting video conference, whatever video programs, you can use it. You can use it freely. Okay. And schedule. Then we gonna have a spring break next week. Okay, next week. Okay. So enjoy your spring break, much needed spring break. Okay. Then we will start new chapter, international strategy. Okay, some very important topics in the strategy management. That's it. But we already talked about the fundamental ideas of strategy management. Okay, business level strategy and corporation level strategy. Okay. All right. So let's go. So the first team. Okay, team four. All right, team four. Who is gonna be the presenter? Team four, please let me know.
I can do it.
Okay, Murph. Okay, Murph, you are the presenter. Please start your presentation as soon as you are ready. This is team four. Oh, your evaluation, right? Evaluations on Canvas. Presentation 4, presentation 2 is available right now. Okay, it's the same thing. You can evaluate. Okay, every team's presentations. Please use presentation 2. Okay, presentation 2 on Canvas under the quiz. All right.
Mm,
Okay, I believe team
Can you see
4.
it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
So I believe team 4 is ready right now. So team 4, this is your stage. Please go.
Okay, so this is just our kind of like simulation round for Team Four, and so for the R&D, our kind of strategy at first was trying to do some just trial and error. We kind of like weren't familiar with R&D and just wanted to like play or plug in the numbers and see how the performance and the size quantities kind of affected the R&D cost along with the perceptual map. After playing around with it, we kind of decided to produce a very reliable product with good performance and large size within the low tech industry. And then we also created another product for the high tech industry with better performance, but lower size and high reliability.
Okay, so you decided to attack two markets, the high end and low
Yeah.
end. Slowly. Wow, ambitious. Nice. Oh, I just want to make sure that everyone knows, please produce, okay, multiple products, okay, simultaneously, multiple products simultaneously. Ah, connection. Okay, please
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. And then the next slide is marketing.
So similar to R&D for marketing, it was a lot of trial and error. We didn't know a whole lot going into it. But as far as our strategy, we tried to focus on making the price of the product within the ideal price range of our consumer market. And that was different for the low end versus the high end product. And then we chose a lower sales and promotion budget because we wanted to keep it kind of low cost in that area. And then we just honestly did a lot of research, found some different equations online for the optimal quantities for sales budget and promotion budget. And then based on our forecast on the amount of growth in the low tech industry, we just kind of messed around and figured out some numbers that we thought would come up with the optimal numbers that we needed. And then again, we just tried to keep our costs low overall.
Great, great.
So for our production and HR, we made sure that our capacity was always full, and we did a lot of research to help us try and find equations to where we could kind of create the most optimal quantity for the production schedule and capacity. And then lastly, we made sure to keep our material and labor costs as low as possible.
And for finance, we issued some shares in long-term debt, and I think we issued around 750 to 1 million shares. And we basically just tried to manipulate the shares and debt we incurred to get a positive cash flow from our investing activities. So we looked a lot on the balance sheet and the balance scorecard to try to find the optimal amount to use. And it was just like we just did trial and error for it basically. So we just put in some numbers to see which worked best.
Okay, in terms of finance, you have several ways to fulfill your financial needs. Okay, so the several options you need to compare which one is the cost efficient. Okay, and also you need to think about the what you are always very cautious about that emergency loan. Okay, and this simulations emergency loan is not good. Okay, that means your calculation was not good. Okay, then you have unexpected the short of your money. That is a problem. So in the reality, emergency loan is not so available like that. But in this simulation, emergency loan is available, but always emergency loan is negative. So think about it. Okay.
And then so these are just kind of like the results. And our group is in reg. So we had the highest profit, cumulative profit, um, kind of the lowest leverage, but the highest ROS, return on equity, and return on assets. And I think this is just mostly due to keeping our cost low for our like material, product, and labor costs, but also making sure that the product that we used for the low tech industry was, better quality and more reliable and at a better price within the market.
Okay.
And then for kind of like in the future, like the next practice round and then the actual simulation, there's just some things we're going to keep in mind is that kind of keep our products within the consumer market range or like the ideal market range. So like for the low tech industry, make sure we are keeping up with the consumer market's like ideal price or like ideal size, and same for the high tech products. And then also paying attention to capacity and schedule and making changes accordingly to like each round. And then also managing the human resources and staffing. And then ultimately also paying attention to the change in markets and also the kind of what the competitors are doing within
Okay.
this situation.
All right. Great. Great.
So,
So,
are there any questions?
any question, comment? Button 4. This is great. This is great. So, based on your result, based on your performance, okay, it is great to see actually your market calculation and also your internal decisions are consistent. That's why, that's probably you say, you have the cost effective, the performance right now. Okay, it's good, great. Okay, and probably in the next round, some other teams will move. Okay, some other teams will move around. Okay, so your market is always dynamic. Okay, dynamic. So you need to think about this dynamism in your market. Okay, then you need to recalculate your market always. Okay, in any round. Okay, and what is that? What else? Oh, customer satisfaction, customer preference. Okay, so at this point, you need to find the information about your customers. Okay, in round two. Okay, so if your product is very close to the customer satisfaction, that's good. That's good. You will have more demand. Okay, so customer satisfaction is very important. Okay, great, great presentations. I love it. I love it. Very concise and very informative. Okay. All right. The next theme is no question, no comment. Any question? Any comment? Okay. The next theme is team 3. Team 3. Chester. Team Chester. Who is the presenter? Team Chester? Team 3?
I'll be presenting for Team 3, Dr. King.
Okay. Okay. Once again, you can evaluate all the teams' presentations. Okay. All the teams' presentations on Canvas. Okay. Presentation 2. Okay. All right. Please go ahead, Chester.
So, hey everyone. If we haven't met, I'm Adam Fox, and I will be kicking us off for Team 3 today. So for our foundation simulation strategy, we are pursuing a product differentiation. And so from our textbook, the definition of that is to create differences in the firm's products and services by creating something that is perceived industry-wide as unique and valued by customers. So essentially, we want to find ways that our products and services can stand apart and excel in aspects, characteristics, and components that our competition is unable to do. So in basic terms, we're essentially creating value that other firms have not yet been able to create.
And then the book also touches on some different types of product differentiation that exist. So there's differences in prestige and image of brand, so quality, technology, innovation, features, customer service, and dealer network. And we focused on a lot of these throughout our stimulation to make sure we were capturing as much of the industry as we could so customers could see us as more unique and valued.
So the strategy that we are specifically implementing is going to have three components to it. The first being we're going to make sure that our sales and promotion budget is consistently strong from round to round, because if we're not allowing an ample sales budget for our team, then we're not going to be able to meet demand and create additional demand as the market continues to grow. The second component is going to be to consistently provide a quality product and constantly innovate what that product is able to do so that we're able to continue to lead the market as we did in the last round. And the third part is going to be to consistently plan ahead for our future production needs so that we're able to introduce new products as the market continues to grow. So for our sales budget, as I said, it's essential to our firm's success. Otherwise, there's going to be limited demand in the future, and the product would end up being unknown to consumers that otherwise would have been aware of the product and likely purchased it. In the last round, we spent $6.1 million on selling and general administrative expenses. And so we're planning to continue to increase that number over the next several rounds so that we can continue to excel in our sales area. Looking at the numbers from the last round, we had the second highest selling and general administrative spend in the class. And out of all of the groups that earned the highest amount, we spent the most.
Okay.
And so in terms of constant innovation and consistent product quality, we spent $27.9 million in total assets, and we have the highest total asset value out of all the groups, which in effect caused us to earn $53.4 million in sales revenue in the last round. We had the second highest sales volume in class. And so a lot of groups pursued the cost leadership strategy where they focus a lot on keeping their costs low, versus we took the opposite effect in order to maintain a competitive advantage over other groups, as we're focused on having the best human and physical capital available to produce the best quality products.
And finally, as we mentioned, the third part of our plan is to continue to plan ahead for our future production needs. So we spent $21 million on plan development and increasing our production capacity. It was the second highest total spend in the class, and we're ensuring that we're going to be able to meet future demand for our product as well as additional products as the market continues to grow in the future.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much. Were there any questions?
Any question, comment? If you have any question, any comment, you can use the chat link too. Okay. So Team Digby, great. Oh, Team Chester. So it's a great, very impressive. Okay. So this Team Chester, is focused on high-end products, okay? Product differentiation strategy. And based on this strategy, this team emphasized the innovation and the high marketing, expenses, marketing effort. Nice. Uh-huh. Internal consistency is great. That means this team focused on product differentiation strategy. So what needed, okay, for this strategy? Then probably innovation and marketing. Great. Okay. All right. Internal consistency. So for the next round, you need to think about your market. Okay. So the market calculation is good, then your strategy. You already have internal consistency. Okay. So external consistency, that means your market, your strategy, your market, and your product differentiation strategy. Okay. So external consistency. This, is what is that? The critical point. Okay, at this point. Okay, good luck. Great. Okay, team 2. Next is team 2. Baldwin. Who is gonna be a presenter? Baldwin. Team 2. Courtney. Who is gonna be the presenter? Team 2, please let me know. Okay. Okay. So really, you are the presenter. Okay. As soon as you're ready, please go ahead. Yeah, it is very nice to see. Actually, you already have great ideas about these presentations. Actually, Team 4, Team Digby was talking about trial errors, and Team 3 was talking about internal consistency. It's great. Okay. All right, this is Team Baldwin. Team 2.
So we
Okay,
were,
so you got it,
really
Ash.
cute. So we did our presentation about what strategy we attempted to use and then what we're going to implement in the future. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So for our cost leadership strategy, just to start things off, we tried to do a lot of research on how the simulation worked and then create a product between low and high tech. And then we also did try to maintain lower material costs and have positive cash flows, but ultimately our results were not where we wanted them to be. We're thinking this is going to be a lot of trial and error, and we're hoping to use the second practice round as a good start for that. But for what we did try to use and then what we're going to try to implement in the future is where we're going to really start things off today. So the first is our cost leadership strategy. So it's essential to creating products that customers want to a standard of quality at the lowest possible cost compared to competitors. And this strategy would allow our firm to control our costs and expenses of operations and maintain a healthy position in the marketplace. So for the simulation, we should really try to improve on the implementation of this strategy for the future. We were in debt rather than having profit, and then our expenses were a lot higher than all of our competitors, combined with variable costs, and it was a lot higher than the amount in our sales.
Okay. I cannot hear anything at this point. Probably everyone is the same situation.
I'm not sure if Courtney's mic is working or not, so I can take her side. So for plant utilization, the typical good rate is between 85 and 100%, but ours was only around 47% compared to most teams who really averaged above the 100%. So this signified that we were really underproducing and not using our facility to its fullest capacity, which we need to do better at in the future. So the key for this is just knowing when to increase and reduce production based on inventory amounts in order to meet demand, and also knowing when to switch between low and high tech products. So our goal for the next round is to double our rate and increase production so that we can increase our sales.
Okay.
So now we're going to kind of move into why some firms succeed while others do not. So the first thing that we kind of looked at was product differentiation or lack thereof. So product differentiation creates a competitive advantage for firms. It allows you to set yourself apart from your competitors and appeal to a wide variety of customer groups. So you may have one product that appeals to one segment of the customer base and another product that appeals to a different segment of the customer base, allowing you to increase your market share. Product differentiation also allows for competitive markets by decreasing barriers to entry and allowing for smaller firms to compete in the marketplace because economies of scale would just eliminate smaller firms if there wasn't product differentiation in the marketplace. Um, so vertical and horizontal differentiation are two strategies that you can use for product differentiation. And vertical differentiation is just a difference in price or quality of the product, while horizontal differentiation is anything that's not related to the price or quality, such as a flavor preference. So we will want to focus on vertical differentiation um, because we can only really change the price or the quality of our product in the simulation. So that's what we're going to focus on for the next round.
What do you mean? What do you mean by the you cannot control your quality of products in the simulations?
I was just saying that we don't like have control over the physical product that we're creating, so we can't focus on horizontal differentiation. We more have to focus on vertical differentiation um, through price and quality of the product.
Okay, think about this way. Your size and the product performance. These are the component of the quality of your products.
Okay.
All right?
Yes,
Think
thank
this
you.
way. Okay. So the quality of product, okay, is composed of many components. Okay. And in these simulations, your size, product size, okay, size, think about that. That is the one of the quality. Okay. The size is big is nothing, right? And the performance, okay, this is the quality of your product. Okay? So think about this way. So actually, we are competing in a single market, one market. Okay, and this market is composed of, okay, some sub segments. So probably high end market and middle and low end market. Okay, it's something like a shape like a triangle. Okay, so in the bottom, probably low end market, okay, and middle and top high end market. Okay, so in this market, you need to calculate your market, your demand. Okay, then based on this demand, you make your serve decisions, the following decisions: your productions, your marketing, your HR, your finance, something like that. Okay, this is the fundamental, very basic mechanism to play this game. Okay, so think about this way. Okay? All right, great. Please go ahead.
So another thing is adequate planning. Strategic planning is basically just where a firm will set goals, priorities, and assign responsibilities, as well as just evaluating the current state that they're in. The plan is basically just a very detailed strategy on how they're going to move on from the point that they're at and how they're going to achieve their goals. So this kind of helps managing their resources correctly. So firms with adequate planning use their limited resources on projects that have the highest possibility for success. So firms really, no matter what the firm is, they do have limited resources. So a strategic plan just kind of makes sure that those resources are being put towards projects that have the highest possibility for success. The plan also helps manage risks. So they have less risk due to planning through every possible situation that could come up. And if a problem comes up, they're able to handle it better just because they've already been through it and they have a plan of what to do if that problem comes up. The plan also helps them track progress, so they can just kind of visualize if they're ahead or behind schedule and just do things based on the timeline that they planned out. So firms that really don't make a strategic plan lose out on those benefits and makes their success a lot more difficult.
Okay. Okay.
So, one of the hardest things to overcome in a firm is failure. It's viewed as kind of a weakness or that something along the way went wrong. So, there are many different reasons that a company experiences failure. There are three main types of failure that can impact a firm. So, the first type is known as unavoidable business failures, which is caused by unpredictable changes like natural disasters, pandemics, recessions, political or legal changes, etc. While there's no way to avoid these unfortunate events, companies can come up with a crisis management plan in advance to reduce their damage. So, looking at this failure in firm, it can be one of the hardest to come back from for many firms since it is unavoidable and sometimes unseen. Firms have a really hard time building themselves back up and often fear failure again in the near future. So this keeps the firm unable to learn from its failures because it often lacks the skills and trust to try again. The second type of failure is known as predictable failure, which is where failure as a business can predict in advance and prepare them for the outcome of that. And then lastly, the third type of failure is known as the intellectual business failures, which arises from experimenting with new products or strategies. So overall, there are many different reasons that a firm may fail, and it is difficult to overcome these failures. Some firms struggle to learn from their failures and fear failing in the future, so they take a more reserved business approach, which can be seen as an inability to learn from failures.
So in our first simulation round, there were a couple factors that led to the low profit that we ended up with, including the ROA, a low sales and variable cost, lack of market capitalization, and we also did have the lowest stock price. And so a couple of things that we can try and work on is cutting a lot of our costs, like operating costs, and increasing revenue. And typically causes of low profit in firms are low prices, the high cost of goods sold, and high operating expenses. And this will always eventually lead to the downfall of firms because when you're not making profits, in small businesses, that just means no income for anybody and then no dividends for larger firms. And one of the things that we can do, because we did have the highest leverage of any of the other teams, then that'll be a way for us to make quick profit to kind of switch that up. But then we also want to focus on more of a specific market to work on long term, which would help increase our profit.
Okay.
So that's all we got.
All right, great. Please, let me have the last slide. Please let me have the last slide. All right, Tim Baldwin.
Something's up with my
Okay.
PowerPoint.
Yeah. All right. So, Tim Baldwin. Any question, comment about Tim Baldwin? Okay. So, Tim Baldwin. Basically, this team has low end product market. Okay. Cost reduction strategy. Okay. But the identified problem is their cost structure is so high. Your cost structure is so high. So that means you focus on the cost reduction, but your cost is high, right? It's a problem. You want to try and make money by reducing your cost, but you spend a lot of money. It's a problem. Okay, you already identified this. So the solution is very simple. Okay, very simple. You spend less money. That is the best thing. Or okay, you can make more money. Okay. So to do this, you need to calculate your demand, okay, precisely, right? Correctly. Actually, at this point, more information is available compared with the first round. Okay? Your current market, your current demand. Okay? If you don't have any change, no change, okay, your current demand, your current revenue will be your demand, right? So one more information. So based on this, gathering more information and recalculate your market, okay, more precisely. Then you can make the other decisions. Okay? And your performance, ROA or some other financial measures, okay, they are interconnected. So if you do right strategic decisions, then this performance will, improve a lot. Okay? So at this point, focus on the right calculation of your demand. Okay? I already talked about that. Your current revenue, your current demand, your market, okay, and customer satisfaction. Okay? Combine this and calculate your demand and make following decision. This is the mechanism you play this game. Okay? Alright. Then the next team is what? Team 6. Okay. Team 6, who is gonna be the prisoner?
I'm presenting.
Okay, Elizabeth. Okay. So now Elizabeth is a prisoner. Very nice. Very nice. Presentations are really good. Really good. Very informative.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I sit.
Okay. Alrighty, well, for our practice round, our strategy was to use the broadcast leader strategy, and we thought that our competitive advantage over the rest of the groups was our prices, and then our mission was low price products with a solid value.
All right, so when we focused on our R&D department, our first thing we did was to decide to add a new product to help with our product mix. We decided to call it Faster, and we added it at a higher price point and a higher performance level than our existing product. Obviously, this incurred some costs in the first round, but the cost should be offset by future sales. So it's a calculated risk here. And then our original product, we decreased it in size and we increased the performance level. And the goal with both of our products was basically to be able to anticipate the future market for the product. So we're not only in a good position now, but we will be in a good position in the future as well. And in a field that's as high tech as chip building, we're going to have to constantly be innovating and have a lot of market research to be able to adapt in a fluid market. And so R&D is going to be an extremely important part of our business in the future.
So somebody presenting, I cannot hear anything. I can't hear you.
I think Emily Kate's having mic problems. If we want to go to the next slide, we can circle back around once she gets that solved.
Okay, so for production and HR, I think kind of in the next practice round, we'll probably have some more options to kind of change within HR, but this is kind of what we did for the first practice round. So some of our kind of results, as you can see, our complement was, which is our number of workers employed by the company, was 303 workers. So for the first shift, that was 154 workers, and then for the second shift, that was 149. So we had the highest plant utilization of all the groups, which is our first and second shift capacity at 195%. So almost full capacity, including first and second shift. And a lot of times there are some concerns about using second shift utilization just because it is more expensive than first shift. But we decided that was valuable for our overall strategy. And then we also had 85 new employees. So our recruiting cost ended up being $85, which led to our total human resources admin cost being $85. And then I added this chart here so you can kind of see our production and capacity compared to the rest of the groups. So that blue line there would be that kind of 100% capacity of the first shift. And then our production is how much further we went over with our second shift as well. So
Yeah, so kind of just going down the decisions we made. First, looking at issued stock, we didn't issue any stock. Basically, we have an end goal in mind is to kind of retire our stocks and buy our shares back at the end. So by not issuing any stocks now, we can kind of prevent our stock value from getting diluted through later rounds and make it easier to retire those stocks later on. Next, when it comes to borrowing money, and this kind of falls in line with that broad cost leadership strategy, we really wanted to focus on long-term debt. And as you can see from the image here on the right, the long-term interest rate is actually higher than the short-term interest rate. But by us borrowing more money from the long-term debt, we'll be allowed to basically pay that off throughout the entire rounds rather than round by round basis. And then looking down here at our accounts receivable and the lag in that, we experimented with different levels on this. Some options gave us more money initially, but that would end up sacrificing our total demand for our product in later rounds. So we found out like the sweet spot for us was 35, and by doing this, we're kind of bypassing the opportunity to have that immediate cash, but we're exchanging it for more demand for our products later on. And then again, the two major components from the broad cost leadership strategy, especially in this finance section that we highlighted, were financing our investments primarily through long-term bond issues and beginning to retire stock once our cash position allows it. And basically the actions that we took kind of demonstrate that.
Can y'all hear me? We can go back to the marketing slide now. Sorry, my mic wasn't working. So for marketing, based on our strategy, we just focused on spending more modestly and promoting and selling the products. So this just meant that we'd be making our prices lower than average. And then after we established our cost leadership position, we'd revisit ways to improve awareness and accessibility. So what we did was we decreased our price to $33 just to increase our benchmark prediction. And then our promo budget and sales budget, we put that at $18.40 to give us a larger benchmark prediction. And then our unit sales forecast was at $14.20, and we increased our accounts receivable to 35 just to create demand, which will allow us to gain market share and be more profitable later on. And then we kept our accounts payable at 30. And then this is just a screenshot of our decision summary.
All right, that's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any question, comment? All right, so team 6, low and product market focus. Okay, so product difference, no, the cost reduction strategy. Okay, then you need to think about your cost. Okay, your cost. Okay. So now it's a little bit, a little bit confusing. Okay, but probably in the next round, okay, you will have better concept about the this year's strategy. Okay, all right. Team 1, Team Andrew. Team Andrew, who is gonna be the presenter?
Hey, I'm gonna be presenting Dr. Kane.
Okay, Paul. So you are the presenter, Paul. Rise and two lows. That's interesting.
All right, so we're Group One, and we decided to emphasize our strategy on cost leadership strategy. So, what is cost leadership? Excellent. So, cost leadership is gaining a competitive advantage by producing products that are cheaper than the ones offered by your competitors. So, if a company adopts this strategy and sustains costs lower than its competitors, then it will succeed. Um, Cost leaders win price sensitive customers that represent the larger portion of the market. Its strategy is to sell more units and sell at a lower price, giving the company lower margins. So, higher volumes, lower margins.
All right, I hope you can hear me now. So we chose one product and attempted to settle at the higher end of the low field. We did a performance of 4.5, a size of 15, and a price of 30.5. What did we do well? We did a few things well. We did emergency loans well. We got 100% of the points from emergency loans. I think we got 80% of the points from wealth creation. And then productivity, financial structure, and working capital, we got 50% of the points possible. Across the board, like we did very like not negative, not positive. Like somehow I don't know. It was I looked at our results and kind of laughed. But um, like everyone did fairly well in the leverage area, but we never did quite go negative anywhere. So it was, this was certainly a learning experience for us. What we did not do well, we had 0 in margins, 0 in customer satisfaction, and 0 in forecasting. Customer satisfaction is a huge deal and was very not pleased with the lack of points there. We certainly want to get to the point where at least we're getting some points in everywhere, if not a lot of points everywhere. We also only got, I think it was 10 or 20 points in profits. So between margins and profits, that's also not encouraging to have very few points there. So in summary, we didn't do the best, but we also didn't do the worst of the teams. We didn't have a real strategy. We were kind of doing a trial and error, just trying to figure it out as we go. But we were also trying to follow the cost leadership strategy. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But that's something that we hope to change for the upcoming round is to stick to the strategy more. But like all the teams, we hope to learn from our mistakes and implement more of the following strategy.
So, an overview of our critical factors when talking about cost leadership. To become the cost leaders of a market, there are factors the business must change in order to sustain revenue. In order to become an efficient cost leader, the company must lower these operating costs. And below are a few ways of doing that. You can increase the production scale, meaning instead of ordering just what you need, you order in bulk. That way you can get a better deal with the suppliers. And you can also sell off some extra resources if you have some implementing technology that's speeds up the production process or can take away from some of the salaries that you are having to dish out that could increase the overall production process, could help to becoming a cost leader. Sourcing raw materials so that you don't can limit third party conversations and just get straight raw materials that you could also sell off that if you have excess of. Improving efficiency kind of goes in hand with the implementing advanced technology where you can create software to help your production costs or help your production process speed up or just run more efficiently. And then limiting products and services. So instead of having a huge product pool and offering many services, you could focus on the ones that bring you the most revenue in and develop a product, increase your production scale and raw materials and efficiency and things like that around those specific products so that you are focused on the ones that are giving you the most revenue.
Yeah, so really what we learned from our results is basically this overarching idea of having cost efficiency. So one of the ways that we can become a cost leader is to help push down cost is through this idea of economics of scale. So that way we're going to, in our next rounds, produce more of a unit and then lower our costs that way to make better use of this idea of economics of scale because when fixed costs are spread, it's much easier to lower your costs that way when they're spread over a larger number of products being produced, as well as your services. And then another idea is economics of scope. So we only focused on one product, but with economics of scope, maybe if we introduced a second product, we'd be able to utilize this concept better and be more cost efficient because when a company is producing two different products under the same roof and they use some of the same materials, then it can be a lot cheaper and more efficient this way.
Great, good, good.
Yeah, and more on this idea of cost efficiency, another cost driver that will help us is process design, is really just reducing our costs through the way the process is carried out. And normally, in order to become more efficient, there's just changes in organizational structure, product design, management control systems, all of these things that impact the process design. And then I think one of the biggest things is lower input cost. So these things derive from lower wages, lower costs from raw material, and then bargaining with suppliers that we're going to learn to do better. So really, it's just that this idea of taking advantage of low cost, and I know a lot of companies do this already by like outsourcing their personal suppliers from like other countries that have lower wages and all of these things.
So we looked at some internal reasons firms fail and how we could possibly use this in our future rounds. So the first one is firms having no vision. So members of each firm don't really have the same view on how goals should be reached. So how we could fix this is possibly coming together and coming down with one specific goal and write it out and how we want to achieve it. Another reason is no planning. There's no strict strategies to set in place. Members of the firm don't have training that are relevant to the task and strategies. So how we can use this is just having our strategy that we want to use and then making sure that we all know how to do these different tasks and how to achieve our strategy. And then no leadership. Each firm needs a positive leader who can delegate responsibility to specific roles to members. So we need just somebody that can overlook everyone and help out with them with their roles.
So some of the disadvantages of cost leadership that we're definitely looking at is that we can have too much focus on one or a few value chain activities. Some of the more disadvantages is increasing the cost of the inputs of which the advantages is based off of. The strategy is limited, imitated too easily. So a lot of the groups that we're competing against are using the same cost leadership strategies. So we are looking into that. There's also a lack of parity on differentiation, reduced flexibility, and obsolescence of the basis of the cost advantage.
So overall, based on our results, our cost leadership overview allows us to gain a competitive advantage based on mainly the basis of lowering our prices. So our products we want to keep the pace up with the market. We want to offer an improved size and performance, but while keeping that price below average than our other competitors. So we will gain a competitive advantage by keeping R&D cost, production cost, and raw material cost to a minimum, enabling us to compete on the basis of price. And that's it.
All right, great. Any question, comment? All right, please go back to the previous slides, the Hensley presented. Please go back to the previous slide, Hensley presented. The previous one.
I'm sorry, which slide?
Probably number 8.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard
Number
time
8,
hearing you this
Paul.
morning. Number 8, okay.
Yeah. I think it's the one about cost efficiency.
Yes. Actually, these two slides save your presentations. This is really nice. Okay. So basically, please go this is all about cost efficiency because you choose the low end market cost reduction strategy. Okay, it's all about your cost. Okay, the best way to reduce the cost is precise market calculation and economies of scale. You can reduce fixed costs. Okay, so this slide, and probably the next slide. Please go ahead. The next slide. Yes, these two slides actually will show you, okay, give you the best answers for future rounds. Okay, so focus on these two slides. Actually, these two slides will be very helpful for every team. Okay. So if you focus on cost reduction strategy, you should keep in mind these two slides. So make it real, okay, in the simulations. These two slides, okay, the idea of these two slides, make it real in the simulations, in the context of a simulation, in the numbers. Okay, then you will be very successful. Okay, and the simulations. These two slides. Okay, focus on it. Great. Any question, comment? All right, and we have the last team already, Team 5.
Hey, Dr. Kang, I'll be presenting for Team 5.
Okay, great. Aidan. So Aidan, you are the presenter. Please go ahead.
All right, can y'all see my screen?
Yeah, it is working, I guess. It is just voice. Oh, I can say that captain practice
Yes.
round 1, Team 5.
Okay, perfect. So we're Team 5. So we kind of learned a lot from this practice round. We definitely tried a lot of different things, and so today we're going to kind of walk you through kind of the 4 different areas that we were able to play around with, and kind of what our decisions were in that. So for R&D, we spent a lot of our time here because we knew that this was going to be the most important in our future rounds. One big thing that we really wanted to do during our first practice round was kind of see how we can look to make things efficient and beneficial kind of in the long term and not just focusing on the short term. And so with that, we kind of decided that we wanted to create kind of a differentiation strategy focusing towards the high-tech market segment. And so with this, we created a new product with specs that we estimated that were going to be what the high-tech market was going towards. We knew that the market changes would kind of change over time, so we really wanted to make sure that we were hitting a market tech area that was what kind of the future market was heading towards. We also, for our current product, we wanted to keep it relevant, and we noticed that in the low tech market, age was a really important thing. And so we decided to tweak our product just a little bit to lower its age to get it more in the ideal range, so customers are more likely to buy that. And like I said, we created this high tech product, which we spent a lot of money on. We'll kind of talk a little bit on how we financed that later in our slides. But that was to be launched for round 2, and so we made decisions on that in a later round. So that was kind of our R&D. Like I said, we were really looking to hit the high tech market, and so we're kind of getting decisions of what we did for that.
So our goal for the marketing sector was kind of just to build as much awareness for our products to kind of set us up for the future when we release our new product. And so we wanted the awareness high. We wanted to drive the future sales of our new product and make sure we reached as many customers as possible. So that's kind of how we priced our product for in between kind of the high and low tech markets. And we had a good market share in both sectors for that first product. And our customer awareness was also the highest for both segments, which was kind of our goal, and kind of to build the customer loyalty and make sure they knew about our products.
On the production and HR side, we were at a pretty high plant utilization rate for our projected demand, and we ended up spending lots of money on overtime pay because of that. And we did some trial and error here, and to fix this, we added capacity to help lower that plant utilization rate for the next year.
For finance, we chose to sell $1 million worth of shares because it increased the leverage ratio points on the balance scorecard, and it also increased the net change in cash position on the cash flow statement. And as Aiden said earlier, it helped offset the cost of R&D we were doing because we spent so much on that, so it helped offset that cost for our new product.
Yeah, so like I said, we were kind of looking to do a long-term practice run, and since this is practice, we just tried out a lot of different things. So really, a lot of our kind of evaluations and whether things worked or not will kind of be after this round 2. So we feel like we learned a lot, and we're excited to kind of move forward and kind of see what the round 2 holds. But are there any questions about that?
All right, any question, comments? Well, Team 5. All right, great. Thank you so much, Team 5. All right, every teams. Okay, that's great. Great to see what you're doing. Okay, so actually, we have 3 teams that are focused on the low end market. Okay, cost reduction strategy, and just 1 team high end market focused. Okay, product differentiation strategy, and 2 teams focused on both high and low end. Okay, it's pretty good distributed. All right, so this is a practice round 1. Okay, so the purpose of practice round is very simple. You are familiar with the game. Okay, so basically, it is a good time to practice, to have a sense. Oh, this is this game. Okay, this is the game, something like that. You have a sense like that. Okay, so some teams are a little bit, going faster. Some teams are a little bit, going slow. But it's perfect. It's good. Great. Okay, based on your simulation, I'm not worried about. Okay, I'm not worried about. But basically, at this point, again, I just want to emphasize this. Your game, your simulation is very, very simple mechanism compared with the real business. But if you understand this simple mechanism, then you can apply it in your real business too. Okay, this is a framework. Okay, so once again, your simulation, you calculate your demand, your market, okay? Whatever your strategy is, okay? Cost leadership, product differentiation, whatever your strategy is, you need to calculate your demand, okay? Demand, your market. And then the second thing is you make decisions in each department decisions, okay? Following decisions based on what? Market calculation, okay? Then, okay, based on this framework, okay, process, okay, what information you want to focus, your market size, and customer satisfaction, okay? And if you calculate these two things, okay? All right, great. I really enjoy your presentations. Please, everyone, evaluate every team's presentations on Canvas. Any question, comment?
I have a question about Wednesday.
All right.
You mentioned that Wednesday was going to be more of like a work day. Are we required to be on Blue Button, or if we wanted to meet in person, is that okay?
Okay, you are required to be here on the video conference I created on Wednesday. It can be like a touch base, and also it can encourage you your what's that the correct meetings to prevent the slackers. Okay, so I'm gonna create same thing, same format. I'm gonna create my video conference on Wednesday. Yeah, you participate in this conference. You are gonna have your own team meetings in this video conference. Okay, if you wanna meet, okay, together in the any separate place, okay, then you can do that. Okay? So it's a totally up to you. Any other question, comment? All right, great. You did a great job today. I really enjoyed the presentations. Okay, so I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see you on Wednesday for practice round 2. So you're gonna have team meetings for practice round 2. All right, then I will see you on Wednesday. You did a great job. All right, thank you, Tinsley. Thank you, John.